Howdy, y'all. I'm back. It is dead set level 0 degrees Celsius. 32 Fahrenheit. It's freezing. Just. Oh, howdy, TX. Oh, well, you know, all those people that were kind of more or less laughing at me for not being able to handle the cold. You know, the same ones that I invited to come to Houston in August. I wanted to make sure that they knew I can handle their cold. So I took out the biggest pipe I own, the General Cobb. That's almost another inch bigger than just the regular sized cob that I like so much. And I put all the way through. I packed the bowl, I smoked the bowl, I sat and chatted. I mean, it's hard. Don't get me wrong. It hurt. It wasn't the most fun experience of my entire life. But right about now, anybody who was out there saying, "Oh, well, what am I going to do when it gets cold?" Well, now they know. I'm going to put on another layer and I'm going to embarrass the hell out of them. Just one of those things. That's just the way it is. I'm meaner than they am. And you know how I know I'm meaner than they am? Because I don't think legally you can treat me as bad as I treat me without going to jail for it. I will tell you right now, like I said earlier, it is 0. I've been trying to wait for it to get to 33. But it's just not going to make it to 33. It's stuck at 32. That's okay. Well, TX, I don't know if I could actually hang with like Boris. If he says, we're going to go out and it's going to be cold, I'm probably going to look at him and go, oh shit, this is not good. Now, when it comes time for them to hang out with somebody who says, all right, let's go hang out, but it's going to be hot, all can compete with me. Yes, there's some people who can hang, but compete? Oh, God. I don't want y'all to compete with me. I'm afraid that somebody would die. What I've done for a living for most of my life is work inside plants and power plants, stuff like that. And I gotta tell you, you get used to the heat. When it's 92 out, but then you're working next to a piece of equipment that's 150. It's actually 150 where you're at, not 92. And I've built up a tolerance for heat. I don't want to have a lot of people falling out because they're trying to out-heat me. Oh yeah. I'm seeing in the news that it's looking like we're going to have some freezing rain come in tonight. A couple bands worth. Houston is still without power for the most part. In the state of Texas, there's an estimated 4 to 5 million people without power. Half of that number is Houston, which is kind of terrifying. God doesn't turn the heat back on. There's going to be some people in the grave, and that's not a good thing. But hey, enough about all that. Sort of. If y'all want to talk about that, we can talk about that. That's fine. I'm going to load a pipe, get to smoking. I'm going to tell you right now, it is nowhere near as cold as it was at 16 degrees when I was up this morning. At least here in Houston. Hell, we've almost doubled that. We did double it. 16 and 16 is 32. That's where we're at. Hola, Jose. ¿Cómo estás? Muy bien. Muy bien. I'm going to have a nice cob to smoke. And the power is still on at my house. That's better than I can say for across the street. I'm starting to feel bad for them. Of course, as I've told people, I live really close to the police station. I'm on the exact same grid as them. So the police station and the fire station always get preferential treatment, meaning they're going to be first to get connected. Well, if you're on the same grid as them, that means when they get power, you get power, unless something has happened in between them getting power and, like, if there's a line down somewhere. And a little community I take care of, really, they do a great job of taking care of that. But there's some other issues that they've got around the world that aren't quite working so well. So what I got here is a Flying Dutchman match. I'd show you the tin, except for it says Chinese cake. What I really want y'all to remind yourselves of is there's some advantages. Whoo! Prince Albert back inside to warm up. I understand. When it was 16 degrees this morning, it was all I could do to finish off that General Cobb. It was hard. No need to get sick there, TX. It's just not going to work. Okay, Jose, if you've got to go back to work, don't worry about that. I appreciate you stopping by. It was excellent to see your smiling face. At least, you know, you get that little circle thing right over here where the chat box is, and there's your face. Pretty nice, though. But in case anybody's wondering what I was talking about by, hey, you know what? There's some advantages to smoking in the cold. I'm going to remind y'all what at least one of those is real quick here. Gotta use a knife, though. Mostly because Woodford Reserve Distillers Select. Oh yeah. You don't need ice when it's cold. You just pull the top off, set yourself a glass. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I've got branded glasses. Give yourself a good finger or two, however you choose to do it. If you want more than that, you go right ahead. You want less than that? That's your business, not mine. But when you don't have to add ice, if you like scotches, you can still add that dropper worth of water, which is what they suggest. But I discussed this with several of the elite bourbon makers, the master distillers, in that time when I was around Kentucky. And they said the best thing to do is just keep it cold and pour it in a glass. There's no reason to put ice in there. You're just watering it down. One of the other things I did get was some stainless steel bourbon rocks for those hot days where I'd still like to have it a little bit cool. Those notes of vanilla. And apple. Now, this is not a flavored bourbon. And maybe you get something else out of it. It's been a while since I've actually had Woodford Reserve. But I catch notes of vanilla and apple with a little bit of a wood smokiness and a bit of a spiciness like a pepper. It has that feel of somewhere between a black and a red pepper. Oh, so nice. So nice. And no, Woodford Reserve did not sponsor their spot on my station. If they would like to sponsor their spot on my station, or if any of the bourbon makers in the world would like to sponsor a spot on my station, send me a bottle. If I like it, you're going to get sponsored on my station somehow, some way. I guarantee it. Yeah, I can see how that would be a good statement for Woodford. Yeah, it's not too sweet. It's not too spicy. It's not too savory. It's if you were looking for a fine middle ground where everybody could enjoy it, Woodford Reserve is probably going to be a damn good choice. Also, I forget, is it 1492 or 1792? I know that there's one of them. I've got to believe it's 1792. The 1792 bourbon is very, very similar to Woodford Reserve in flavors and profile. So that's going to be nice, easy all the way through. Just poured some Knob Creek smoked maple to join me. Ooh, smoked maple. Yeah, that's nice. Howdy, Todd. Glad to have you in today. But so one of the best things about being able to smoke in the cold is that you can enjoy. Right. So 1792's got to be when Kentucky joined the Union, and that's the reason why they named that in honor of and howdy, Mike. Glad to see you here. Jeez. Did you sleep well? And how's your shoulder? And No, I don't always drink bourbon with my broadcasts, but I felt like having a, well, I'm gonna call it a finger and a half. Quite honestly, I just pour what I feel like. Damn, that's horrible, Mike. I'm hoping that gets better in a quick hurry. I know with this, with Mother Nature acting like she's schizophrenic crack whore. Well, we're all having issues with the weather lately. Mike, I say the same thing about kidney stones when I have those. It definitely hurts me more than it hurts you. Yeah, I feel for you though. As soon as it stops being wet and drippy out here, I have full intentions of going hog wild on a certain pipe project that I've got on hold that is frustrating the crap out of me right now. Howdy, Boris. Glad to see you could come back through. For anybody who's watching, yes, I am having actual Woodford Reserve bourbon. Love this stuff. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm glad I could help in any way I can there, TX. I'm not trying to be the savior of the whole planet, but if it keeps y'all from going insane to see somebody who is insane out there braving the cold because he's a dumbass. Oh, yeah, I'm down to one hat. And it's still freezing. Not below freezing, not above freezing. 32 degrees Fahrenheit, 0 degrees Celsius. But I can take off some layers because it's not as cold. I tell you what, that 16 this morning was brutal. And starting off, I was only able to prove 17, which was even worse because I was like, man, I got one app that says 16 and the other one says 17. But there by the end, it dropped down to that 16. I knew it would. I knew it could. Yeah. But yeah, so another advantage of smoking in the cold, you can put on a musty smoking jacket, something that doesn't like belong even in your house, not realistically, and you can smoke, and if somebody inside doesn't like the smell of smoke, well, I've got a mother-in-law, but you could take that jacket off. You could leave it right out there where you were, as long as it stays dry. Hey, no problem. You left all the smoke smell right outside. Well, TX, I tell you what, if you do have to go to a boil your own, there are two things that I'm going to suggest doing. First is you get a damn good filter. I suggest for those situations where you've got to boil your own water, The what is that? There's a filter out there that takes everything out, and I mean everything. In my head, it's coming up goal 0, but no, that's my flashlight thing that helps me recharge my batteries and stuff when I'm without power. Damn it, Boris, I knew that you were going to end up beating the ever-loving stuffings out of me today. I just knew it. Yeah, there's Life Straw. There's one at the supermarket that you can get for like $50. It's a big ass pitcher with 2 filters in it, and the filters come in a 4-pack for $50. They're rather expensive, but they take all the sediments and stuff, even lead and other stuff, out. And now Brita's not it. And if I try to look it up on my phone, it's going to shut this whole stream off, so I'm not going to try that right now. I've got one because when I lived in Weatherford, the water purity was horrible. It poured out of the sink a milky white color because of all the gypsum in the water. I mean, literally, I wouldn't even use it to make coffee. I mean, I barely wanted to use it to pee in. I mean, it's just horrible. Okay, well, as long as you got some bottles and your beer, you should be fine. I'll think of what the filter I'm thinking of is at some point, and I'll get back to y'all on that. I'm not trying to tear up the whole feed just on trying to remember that stupid water filter. Anyways, there's a water filter out there that'll take out all the sediments and stuff down to almost 0 or truly 0. Which leaves you with just microbes left. And in some places, they'll tell you, okay, well, boil your water. Well, you still have now a whole bunch of extra contaminants that are in there that are not going to come out with boiling. It's safe to drink-ish, but safe-ish to drink, but it still has like iron or lead down in it. Not really all that safe to drink. So you filter it through any of those, the top of the line filters, whatever you can do, and then you boil it. And the problem is you can't guarantee what they're going to actually do to get you the water. I've got people up here or down here in Houston that are, I mean, it looks like they're pouring hot chocolate out of their tap, except for it's ice cold. What are you going to do with that? You got to boil it, of course, but you got to filter it too. And sometimes not all the contaminants are going to be visible. You don't need to go to the hospital for something that's kind of an invisible thing. Normally I use this filter pitcher that I've got. I only use it for the coffee machine. My hot water boiling pitcher, or the Keurig, which I do have a Keurig, yeah, so what. But I use that through there. The problem with it is normally it will take out so much of the minerals and stuff that it can make you sick. People don't understand that. When you pee, all that fluid will latch onto certain minerals and stuff, and it will flush it out of your body. When you drink normal water, some of those minerals will go back in. If you don't put any of those minerals in and you just keep drinking this ultra pure water, you're going to flush those minerals out, and over time you're going to end up with such a deficiency of those minerals that it will make you sick. Howdy, Martin. I'm glad you support some of my cause. Is it the cause of roofies, or is it the cause of your one guy that has a valid point that they still won't put his comment on YouTube? Something told me Martin would be interested in somebody reminding him that YouTube's been screwing Martin. If y'all haven't been watching his Dell Chronicles, let's just say that go to find the start of it and watch through so far, and you're just going to be like, what the hell? Anyways, one of his viewers left a valid point comment on his stuff, and it's not showing up on his feed. Well, it wasn't me. No. My more or less sister-in-law set off her car alarm. Well, at least there's no cats under her truck. Oh, well, that's good to know that McFly's doing better. Give him a hug for us. We all like his little segment. And yes, I believe it. And I'm wondering, have you told them that you're filming this and putting it on YouTube to make sure that everybody knows? And yes, the glass does match the bottle. The carpet does match the drapes. Oh, well, no, it doesn't matter if GA is a single consent state or if you care. What you should do is you should be letting them know. Hi, because of the crappy way that y'all have been dealing with this, I've been filming it. It's now several films in. You're going to have to pay me to get rid of those. You can send your lawyers, but I'm just reporting fact. You can try to hide it, but you can't legally. Then let's see if it turns up the heat. It's either that or you play the Donald soundbite. Might be easier if you roofie 3 or 4 of them. Oh, I love being able to sip on bourbon and Martin, you haven't pissed me off. Me, you can't piss me off, but I mean, you can try. Though realistically, the only way to actually succeed in pissing me off is to make sure that your life is worth 0. Because if you push me far enough that it pisses me off, then your life is worth 0 anyways. No, Martin, you're not going to piss me off. Trust me. You can't piss me off. You can't piss me off from that damn far away anyways. Last person that actually succeeded had to be nose to nose with me. And nobody ever likes the result when it happens. Got a friend that's about 6'8", built like a brick shit house. I've seen the guy fight like 6 guys at the same time and win. Crazy big, just old corn-fed, whoop the hell out of anybody that comes along kind of guy. Boris, I feel for you. I understand what that kind of cold can do. I know you're better prepared for it than I was, but Martin, it's not going to happen to me. Like I said, you can't do it from way over there. Anyways, this big friend of mine, he one time saw some guys trying to talk themselves into a fight with me, and he walked up to one of them. He said, look, if you really want to start a fight, just know this simple statement. If you start a fight with him, he'll hurt you. If you start a fight with me, I'm just going to beat you up. And the guy had to take a step back and think about it for a minute before he finally realized, and what he came to understand was he couldn't win against my friend. Wasn't no way to win against him. It wasn't going to happen. My friend was telling him, you aren't going to win against that guy. He's meaner than you. He'll do things to you that shouldn't be done to any human being. I've also heard that same guy say, of all his friends, the only one that scares him is me. He was always a good friend. Don't see why I should scare him. He said, it's because I don't quit. I'll just keep coming until I either get killed or I damage somebody far enough that they never ever want to even think about attempting it again. It's a bad part about being basically raised in an abusive family. Not trying to scare nobody. Just saying I don't let people piss me off. You gotta really, really want to piss me off. And it's not gonna be one of those book, ha ha. Yeah, I can overlook that any day of the week. Oh no, it's gotta be, you're gonna have to swing. I don't know of anybody in here that's really willing to swing. Though I have invited some people to Houston to take their shot, whether it be on Twitter or here on my own channel. I don't hold back. That's not a dad bod, that's a winter bod. Ha ha. Y'all just remember, skinnier people are easier to kidnap. Always has, Boris. If you look at the paintings of the aristocrats from way back in the day, you're not going to see a bunch of skinny women. The more money a woman had, the more she ate. The more she ate, of course, the heavier set she would be. The people who could afford paintings were well enough off. So the aristocrats, if they got a painting, chances were the woman was a little bit more rounded than, quote unquote, what the sexy women of today's are. Very true also, the less she worked. Though she did probably do a lot of work up here in her mind, keeping the accounts straight and keeping the people that were on the land working and keeping the money coming in. That statement of behind every great man is a great woman, or something to that effect, there's actually some truth in that goes way back. Just saying. I like the way the cold makes the smoke so much more vivid. It's never this seemingly thick in the middle of summer. More bourbon. Well, a lot of Kias always tend to remind me of good barbecue. Especially one of my more favored heavy Latakia blends. Oh, 965 and Nightcap are excellent. But if you're ever looking for a heavier Latakia blend, and I'm going to warn you before I tell you what it is, it's got a bad reputation for tongue bite, even for me. But the Sutliff Lord Nelson, it tastes like what I remember Memphis ribs tasting like. You get to Memphis sometime around May, you know, Memphis in May, yeah, hell of a good time. You get anywhere around the rendezvous now, it feels like you're walking down an alley to get there. But hey, you start smelling those ribs, and for me, the mouth starts watering, and I'm just like, oh God, gotta get some of those. Stomach starts rumbling. I'm heading there like a homing torpedo or something. I can't help myself. I'm going to go get some. But yeah, you get inside that place, and if you're not a fan of Latakia, you will be by the time you leave. Good stuff. But yeah, definitely a tendency to have tongue bite. The Lord Nelson does. But yeah, Memphis ribs. Ugh, love it. So what's next on the holiday list? What is it? St. Patrick's Day and then Easter? Is everybody looking forward to St. Patrick's Day and then Easter? It's like there's always another holiday right around the corner, right? Easter will most likely be cold this year. It's always cold for my birthday. Who you calling Tuesday? I mean, I realize I'm heavy set, but come on now. You know, it might be part of Mardi Gras, Fat Tuesday. I'd have to ask some of my people from New Orleans on the truth of that, but Galveston canceled all their crap already. Shrove Tuesday. Come on now. We just got to remember. Things that a pipe smoker could say, and it makes perfect sense. But if you aren't a pipe smoker and you say it, it's so horrible. Heck, I could handle some double salary, except for the fact that double salary for zero is still zero. Damn it. Howdy, Dell. Glad to see you in today. Yes, I am actually smoking Woodford Reserve. Woohoo! Luckily, no, Dell, you have not actually missed all the good stuff. I was making a slight comment about the weather, saying that with it being cold, you got to look for the bright spots there. And for me, one of the bright spots is that if I enjoy some bourbon, I don't have to add any ice. I can just bring the bottle out, pour a little bourbon in a glass, have a pipe, enjoy a little splash of bourbon. And somewhere between beer and bourbon, if God didn't want me to be happy, He'd erase both. Oh, there's always more good stuff, especially in the YTPC. This crazy community we belong to that is more of an inclusive community than any other that I've ever been a part of. Heck, 30 years ago, I probably wouldn't have even wanted to know most of y'all. Did y'all hear my wife? She said, nice. What an asshole. 30 years ago, I wasn't really into smoking pipes. I wasn't into good-natured conversation with people who share a hobby and lifestyle with me. Oh, Boris, 10 degrees Fahrenheit. Yikes. Now, 5, 6, 7 years ago, when I kind of got into more all the time cigars and pipes, I'm going to tell you, started getting into having these friends that I don't think I'd want to do without, really. Call it the way you see it. I know I'm harsh and abrasive. It's okay. But yeah, still have electricity. Of course, that means I'm getting the electric bill still. As the wife said, beats the alternative. We could be without power.
Like the people across the street.
Yeah. Everybody on that side of the street, no power. Everybody on this side of the street, power. Hearing from people on the north side of Houston that we're having busted pipes and various different other issues, and I'm just happy that it doesn't seem to going to be affecting my half of the street for very much longer. Now, the local tobacco shops, Fort Worth has more tattoo shops than they have tobacco shops. So, a little difficult there. Yeah, you'd have to go over to the HEB area in in between Fort Worth and Dallas. And I forget what HEB stood for over there, but I remember that that's what they call it. That was the closest one to the Fort Worth area that I remember. Oh no, the grass is dead over there too. Howdy, Jose. Glad you could come back. Right. Global warming. Woohoo! One of the coldest days in a century. Well, right now, Boris says it's all kind of beat with 10 degrees. Of course, he's in Finland, and
Used to it.
right, Martin? I definitely agree. Nothing says global warming like frozen windmills. And solar panels with enough ice and snow on them that they don't generate a damn thing. There's your new Green Deal. I am limiting myself to just my one drink. Because I'm going to make that bottle last for a while. Dell, I'm pretty sure that we are all enjoying Martin's Dale Bales series, as he bites tooth and nail with the computer company that has screwed the pooch so badly that it has to be shown on film just to prove how accurate he's being when he says, "This is crap." I have had Woodford Double Oaked. I didn't have it in the bottle. I did have it in a glass when it first came out. I've also had all of the Pappy Van Winkles, at least at one point in time. Crazy thing is, a lot of people say, "Oh, Pappy Van Winkle," and because they hear the name, and you know it's listed as one of the greatest. I got to tell you, it's really not any better than Wild Turkey Rare Breed. And Rare Breed, I can go down to the store and pick some up. I could go down there today and pick some up if I felt like spending the money on it. But Pappy Van Winkle, putting your $250 down to be put on a list so that you get emailed when it shows up in the store nearest you, and then you better race down there and get it before it disappears. Not that the $250 is actually going to get you anything other than on the email list. And then it's a $250 to buy the bottle. And after you drink the bottle, what happens to bourbon? Well, it all comes out as piss anyway. So I'm just not for spending that kind of money on something that I didn't find was that much better. It's good, don't get me wrong, it's good bourbon. Let's just back that car up before it even gets into gear. I just don't find that it is $250 worth of bourbon in comparison to, like I said, Wild Turkey Rare Breed. If I spent the same amount on Wild Turkey Rare Breed, I'm going to be pretty well snookered every day of the year. and enjoying it. Gotta call it how you see it, though. Oh yeah, I was a little worried about the Dell Chronicles with our Truth, Money, and Freedom also being Dell. Happily, two different entities, completely different. Had some issues with Dell here in the Houston area too. They probably will not be getting any more of the family's money. They were really good, what, 10, 12 years ago now? But
Never let it go.
I don't know. I guess they adopted that Austin way of life. Booker's is good. Booker's is real good. I've definitely had some good stuff from Booker's. Howdy, Ohio Piper. Glad to have you in. Running on pretty close towards an hour and about to finish a pipe, but I am not leaving quite so soon that I have to just quit right now. Batch 215. That means that batch was made, bottled February of 2015. Now, if you knew all of the letters and symbols that are on the bottle, you'd be able to pinpoint when it was actually initially brewed, when it was barreled, and how long it was aged for. Yes, definitely Fort Worth. The rum and maple surprised me extremely a lot. I thought I was just going to be stuck puffing on something that tasted like maple, and that's all I would ever get out of it. It had plenty of strength, and it had plenty of flavor, but it wasn't just all one note of pure maple syrup. I wasn't stuck with thinking, great, pancakes again. I was pleasantly surprised. I thought it goes real well with bourbon. It goes okay with beer. Quite honestly, I enjoyed it most with just plain water because it kept the palate clean so I could have another fresh taste of it. Okay, English and Sutliff. Match 20, which is a very close match to the 965 from Dunhill, which is now Peterson. I mean, if you're going to go after an English, I think you should always try to appreciate what the original true English is. If you can get the Dunhill, but hell, if you can get the Dunhill, you're doing great. If you can't get the Dunhill and you're only getting the Peterson, that's going to be fine too. If you can't get either of those, look for the Camoys, and I don't remember right now off the top of my head if it's cask 11 or if it's cask 7. One of those is coins. I'm not talking about the coins. It's one of them or the other. But that tastes extremely a lot like 965, and quite honestly, I think I appreciated the Camoys cask. And for ease of statement, I'm just going to call it the cask 11. But it's the non-coin. It's either 7 or 11, but not the coins. Anyways, the Camoys, I thought the flavor came on faster and was stronger and was just more truly that quintessential English blend. Now, if you don't like Latakias, just don't even worry about an actual English. You'd probably do better with Balkans than you will with an English if you don't like Latakia. And there is some Latakia in most Balkans. At least from my memory, that's what I get. But yeah, if you're looking for the true start, at least in my mind, of what an English should be, try to find the 965 or some of those that I've mentioned, the Match 20. Why did they name it 20? Because if you add 9 plus 6 plus 5, it comes out to 20. It's a way for them to get away from calling it 965, so legally they can still continue to produce it. But it's not bad. It's not bad at all. It's a little bit of a thicker cut, so you got to remember the Dunhill was like this thick, the Camoys is about that thick, the Sutliff is like that thick. It's thicker. The ribbons are thicker. You're going to notice it if you stand them up side by side, and I've actually done this. I did all 3 of them at the same time. It took me a week. I covered 9 different posts on my blog about it, and really, I couldn't sit there and say, okay, oh my God, yes, I wanted to have the Dunhill so much more than the Camoys or the Sutliff. But if you can't get the Sutliff, which is going to be the cheaper one, and if you can get the Camoys, if it's cheaper than the Peterson, get the Camoys. You're not going to be disappointed. The flavors are so close to each other that unless you get some sort of electron microscope to figure out exactly which percentage they tweaked one way or the other, you're not going to be able to tell much of a difference. Except for the fact, like I said, Camoys comes out. Okay, Dunhill's builds. It starts off light-ish and steadily builds throughout the bowl until it reaches its peak, and then it pretty much stays there. And it'll take you 3 or 4 minutes to get there. The Camoys reaches its peak in about 3 or 4 puffs. That's the only difference that I could actually tell you. I don't know how much of a difference it's going to make to anybody who's a true connoisseur, but if you're looking for the original English, then definitely you need to find the Dunhill. Being that Dunhill doesn't make it anymore, Peterson's, and I haven't had the Peterson's version because they decided to bring it out after I had already done my Dunhill check on it. I do know that my local shop has the Peterson version. As soon as Peterson announced that they were having it, that guy went out and said, okay, ship me this much every month, because I know the owner and that's what he smokes. Got this feeling there is either squirrels or kids or ice falling out of trees. And I'm hoping it's squirrels or ice, not kids. I keep hearing it going back and forth behind me. Uh-oh. Looks like London is Calling with Simon has just come on. And he is doing some spiralized well, I'm not sure if you can call that rusticated or what. He's doing some spiral looking pipes. Well, from what I understand, Peterson bought the formula from Dunhill after Dunhill had decided that they were no longer going to do the tobacco. And I don't see why they would have changed the, quite honestly, best-selling English of all time. How do I prove that it's the best-selling English of all time? There's 5 companies out there that produced a match or a flavor that is so close to it. And if you go back and look at who started it first, Dunhill started it first. Now, almost every company has a English. It means it's of a certain type and mixture, and they have tried to duplicate that flavor as much as possible. And then there's a bunch of offshoots from that have gone their own way. At least that's the way I've seen it. I might be wrong. Somebody can correct me if I am wrong, and that's fine. I don't know everything. But I know that one of my favorites all the way through was the 965. And as I branched out and tried other things, I found I'm really a fan of Englishes. But I also found I'm a fan of vapors, and certain aromatics are really nice. I've got this bad habit. It's kind of like my theory on beer. How do I know I've tried the best one ever? If I just stop at the ones I like. Doesn't that mean that you need to try some that you don't like? Yeah, unfortunately, that's true too. If you're going to review, but you're only going to review the ones you like, because you don't want to give somebody a bad review, you still got to try some of that stuff that you don't like. And you got to attempt to find the best parts of that stuff you don't like. As I've said about cigars, if you hear me talking about a cigar I don't like, but I'm still trying to get somebody to understand that it's still a great cigar, you'll hear me say stuff like, man, that construction was awesome. It was on point. The stick burns beautifully. But you won't get me talking about the flavors because I didn't like the flavor. Or if I really like the flavor but it burns like hell, you won't hear me say anything about the construction. Oh, you got to remember, somebody put a lot of time and a lot of money and a lot of effort into rolling cigars or building a blend to what they thought was their ideal blend for that type. I'm not trying to piss anybody off by saying, oh God, this stuff's crap. Just kind of the way it goes. Okay, so I am getting a message saying that my phone is down to 15% power. That is a 1.5. If it was a temperature, I'd be iced up by now. Whew. So I'm going to start making my way out of here. I appreciate y'all coming in and spending some time with me. We're going to have to do it again tomorrow. Tomorrow, starting into the evening. Let's see. 5:30 my time. That is Central. So if you look at what time it is in Houston, when it gets to be 5:30, I will be coming back on to tailgate for Mike. He was in here earlier. He might still be here. Mike, if you're still here, thinking about you, brother. You be careful up there. And then, of course, Mike. Now, here in a little bit, as I pointed out, LCS, London Calling with Simon, he's on right now. And here in a little bit, there's going to be Eddie Gray. He'll be on in just a little bit to discuss his normal situation. Wherever he goes, he enjoys it. I'm going to be there, or at least I hope to be there. And then after that, we should be having a Nashville Mafia in. They come on right after Eddie Gray. Let's not forget them. Let's show them some love. They've got basically a newer channel that's coming on. Just be aware that it's coming on later tonight. That should be on the Night Piper. The Night Piper. Knight Piper. Oh shit. It is Tuesday, isn't it? Damn. Here I thought it was Wednesday. Cold enough I've forgotten what day it is. I'm sorry. All Briared Up is tonight. Yes, All Briared Up. That's right. So I'm losing out. But Simon is on right now. And later tonight should be All Briared Up if he continues to do his show. I'm hoping to be on tomorrow at some point in time. I agree. It's probably the Woodford. I didn't have enough to get drunk. I just lost a day somewhere. But yeah, tomorrow will be, hopefully I'll be on at some point in time. Also, look for Eric Weaver at Sea Smoke Pipes. He's coming on almost every day, sometimes in the morning, or at least mornings for America. It could be afternoon for those of y'all in Europe. And now, we've got this growing community. Let's just keep it growing. Let's keep doing what we're doing. I really appreciate y'all coming in and chatting with me and throwing out comments and talking amongst yourselves and whatever else you want to do. Remember, I tailgate. I'm not here to try and control. I'm just here to provide a good space to do it all. So, y'all take care. As per always, y'all remember, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other as best you can. And like always, long lives, big bowls, long ashes. Y'all take care, and I'll see you soon.